Andy comes to spend Christmas with her best friend Olivia, while she has a crush on her brother, Liam. Andy is soon accused of stealing a diamond, so she does everything to prove her innocence. Margaret screams when she realizes her Christmas diamond is missing. 6 hours earlier, Andy is listening to Jackie Evenson's audiobook, who is a famous mystery writer. As Detective Bertie Pickett, the author, tries to solve the murder of a CEO in a room full of suspects. Andy already knows Josie is the culprit before Bertie catches her. Andy drives up the estate of her best friend, Olivia, just before Christmas. She feels out of place because Olivia's family is very wealthy. Olivia didn't want Andy to spend Christmas alone and hopes Andy can save her from her crazy family. Olivia's uncle Gary is putting up the lights, who apparently loves money more than his family or Christmas. Olivia's mother, Margaret, has a whole itinerary planned for that weekend. Andy is surprised Margaret is letting her stay because she always looks down upon her. Margaret doesn't know about her, but Olivia assures Andy it will work out. Olivia thinks her whole family is spoiled. She gives an example of a letter her brother, Liam, received in their house. Andy claims she's not worried about the stay, but Olivia knows she always looks away when she lies. Olivia informs Andy about Raphael, the private Michelin Award winner chef her mom has hired. Raphael scares Andy initially, but helps her taste his dish when he learns she's a guest. The giant espresso machine in the kitchen is a gift from Gary. Andy offers to make coffee for Olivia, but she reminds her she's there as a guest. Andy bumps into Liam, who is shocked to see how much she has grown up. He is busy with a call, but hopes to catch up soon. Liam recently called off his engagement, and Olivia knows Andy is lying when she claims she doesn't care. Margaret's butler, Bridget, has cleaned her diamond for the party. Olivia is sure the diamond is more important to Margaret than her children. When Olivia informs Margaret about Andy staying in their guest room, she makes a comment about having expensive German figurines there. When Olivia threatens to stay in a motel with Andy, Margaret welcomes Andy into their home. Olivia asks Andy to not feel bad about Margaret. Andy looks around the room and doesn't think the figurines look expensive. She pockets one when she hears someone near her window. A shadow passes by, but Andy heads out to look for the bathroom. She's examining a locker in Margaret's study when she also arrives with Detective Billings. Margaret claims she is always very suspicious of Andy. Gary's wife, Leonora, and their daughter, Harper, get into a spat about using phones. Leonora warns Harper about staying on Margaret's good side. Harper claims to be an influencer and takes out a spare phone. Olivia explains that their family is bitter because Margaret, as the older half-sister, inherited everything. She claims Gary is frustrated as the younger brother, who keeps failing in all his ventures. Andy is shocked to see Jackie Evenson there, who happens to be a friend of Margaret. Jackie has already guessed that Andy is Olivia's childhood friend and lived in New England. She knows that because they're of the same age, and Andy's car has a sticker from where she lived. Amelia Vanderkamp, from one of the richest families in the country, arrives next. She was engaged to Liam and is determined to make things work with him. Liam clarifies that he's not interested, but can't help that Margaret invited her. Leonora complains about the chef's food and thinks it tastes like rubber. Margaret claims she had no time to prepare food, since the company is doing so well. Gary tries to warn her about market trends, but Margaret knows he's there to ask her for more money. Amela makes fun of Andy working as a part-time waitress. Olivia points out that Andy is a talented writer with a degree from Berkeley. Jackie is impressed and remembers her first job writing instruction manuals. Liam bets with Olivia about Jackie rejecting food for cookies and wins it. Margaret tries to make Liam fix things with Amelia, since she's worth a lot. Andy hears someone outside the door and finds that it's Gary dressed as Santa. Liam claims the newest guest is supposed to choose the game for the night. Andy chooses whodunit, where people have to figure out which player goes with which card. Margaret wants to play a new game that year called Windfall. She brags about how good this year has been financially. She claims she wants to share her fortune with one of them. If they can pitch why they deserve the prize, she offers to give the multi-million-dollar Christmas diamond to the winner. Gary claims everyone knows precious gems are the most stable investment. He thinks he's the only one who knows how to triple its value. Olivia claims she could launch her own fashion line with it. Harper thinks she should get it since she's still in school, and taunts Olivia for not having any designs. Amelia also suggests she should have it since she's practically family. Jackie doesn't want to pitch anything, since she's comfortable as a divorcee living in Beverly Hills. Leonora suggests Raphael could use the award, since he's a bad chef. Amelia claims Andy needs it the most, because she has seen her car. Margaret decides that none of them deserves the diamond. As she shuts the box, Bridget spills cocoa on Leonora. Amelia claims her family has fired maids for less. Margaret agrees with her and fires Bridget. Andy reminds her it's Christmas, but Margaret asks her to not forget her place. Harper tries to have a drink in the kitchen and claims Leonora shouldn't overreact. Harper is sure Leonora is obsessed with taking Margaret's money. Liam thinks Andy has the cutest laugh and reminds her of the summer they spent at camp. He also remembers details about her and can't believe she's actually there. He points out that they're standing under a mistletoe, so Andy kisses him on the cheek. Amelia gets jealous and angrily walks past them. Liam suggests making hot cocoa, but Gary thinks the professional barista, Andy Kavuk, should make coffee for them. As she heads to the kitchen, she hears Harper and Leonora still fighting. Harper heads out for air, and Andy reminds herself she shouldn't like her best friend's brother. As she starts making the coffee, there's a power cut in the mansion. Liam thinks it must be the fuse, and Gary decides to check it out too. As Gary brings the power back, they hear Margaret shouting. Liam and Andy run towards her, and they learn that someone stole her Christmas diamond. Andy informs everyone about a car she saw, which has disappeared. Jackie asks Andy to forget game night, because they have a real mystery. As they all check for the diamond, Gary is in a hurry to head out for his flight. Margaret knows the diamond was with her in her study till the lights turn off. Her staff has already left, so she suspects one of them. She locks the gate till they figure out who the thief is. Leonora instantly blames Raphael and Bridget. Jackie prefers to observe first, but Amelia suspects Andy. She thinks Andy must be eyeing the diamond to clear her student debt. Olivia thinks Gary is acting the most suspicious because he was in a hurry to leave. Gary claims he has to close a deal, but Olivia knows truly successful people never brag about their business. Harper claims she went outside to make a phone call. Gary suspects Liam because he didn't know where the circuit breaker is in his own house. Leonora even suspects Olivia since she mentioned she needs money for work. Olivia explains that she has signed an NDA for a company she works for. When Andy suggests something, Margaret thinks she's about to confess. Andy suggests they search everyone's rooms, which Jackie also thinks is a great idea. Margaret asks Jackie to lead the search as an impartial party to the family drama. Jackie asks Andy to join as her assistant. They don't find anything in Harper's room, but Andy hears a noise from somewhere else. She finds Bridget hiding, who claims she only went back after the lights went off. She wanted to quickly grab her things and was ordering a ride. Andy knows that must be the car she saw, so Margaret believes Bridget and lets her stay. Amelia leads Margaret to the diamond she found in Andy's suitcase. Amelia claims she knew from the first glance that Andy is a thief. Andy feels it's strange that Amelia, of all people, found it in her suitcase. Amelia admits she's bothered by Andy flirting with Liam and asks Andy to confess. Amelia also finds the German figurine in Andy's pocket. Margaret calls Billings since she's sure Andy is the thief. Andy claims she forgot it was in her pocket, and she's not a thief. Jackie mentions security cameras, which Liam has access to. Andy points out that she came out of the kitchen when Margaret screamed. Olivia still thinks Andy could have figured out an alternative way. Andy claims she has seen the other passage for the first time, but Olivia doesn't believe her. She thinks either Liam or Bridget could have told Andy about this passage. Even Jackie asks Andy to admit it looks bad for her. Andy asks for Jackie's thoughts on the case if she were guilty hypothetically. Jackie feels Andy could have taken the secret elevator to the basement while she was supposedly in the kitchen. She could have cut the power and waited for the right moment to steal the diamond and get back. Jackie points out that Andy had the opportunity, motive, and the item in her possession. Andy feels the thief could have panicked and stashed it in her room. She also feels someone like Amelia or Margaret could be deliberately setting her up. Andy asks Jackie to reconsider if she can poke 3 holes in her theory. Andy claims if she can't prove it, she will drive herself to the police station. They decide to do an old-fashioned interrogation with some cookies made from Andy's mom's recipe. They start the interrogation with Margaret. She claims she was putting the diamond back in the safe when the lights went out. When she went to check what happened, the diamond was gone when the power came back. Gary explains that he and Liam went to check the circuit breaker. Jake is always in charge of Christmas lights and brags about having knowledge of fuses. He claims while Liam went upstairs, he went to the basement. He thinks Liam was stupid for assuming the circuit breakers were upstairs. Andy points out the disagreement Gary seemed to have with Margaret in the morning. He was discussing making a stellar offer to her, which she refused. Leonora claims they offered Margaret a great opportunity for a new investment. Andy points out that Leonora is the one who needs investment, but she attacks Andy for not knowing about wealth. She feels they're wasting their time since they all know Andy is the thief. Jackie doesn't think they can prove that beyond reasonable doubt. Margaret gets a call back from Billings, who is not available till the afternoon the next day. She allows Jackie to continue her investigation till then. Margaret also gives Andy a day to prove her innocence. If she can't, Margaret is sure they will be sending her to jail. Jackie asks Leonora to explain what happened after Bridget spilled on her. Leonora claims she went to the kitchen to clean her outfit and ran into Harper. Andy remembers them having a heated discussion. Harper explains that she had told Leonora she won't go to the university in France. Harper still plans to go with Cedric, whom she met as part of an exchange program. She told Leonora that Cedric is from a good family and uber rich. But Margaret threatened to cut off her inheritance when she heard of this. Harper claims she was outside in the balcony texting Cedric when the blackout happened. She also saw Raphael there. Liam explains that after Andy went to make coffee, he and Gary started looking for the fuse box. He didn't know where it was, since Margaret always has people to fix it. Liam starts sweating when he realizes Jackie is suspecting him. He still claims no one saw him going upstairs. Amelia claims she went to lie down and met Liam. She feels Liam didn't mention this to probably spare Andy's feelings. Amelia only came down after she heard Margaret screaming. Andy has found the 3 holes to poke in Jackie's theory. Jackie had suggested that Andy must have taken the elevator to and from the basement. But since the elevator runs on electricity, there's no way she could have. Andy also thinks there are more people now with motives and opportunities. She also suggests that Jackie has been borrowing from her previous works recently. Jackie doesn't deny it, and gets that Andy easily guessed the killer in her last mystery. Andy feels if they borrow from past work, this case feels similar to the one where the detective turned out to be the thief. Jackie is glad she found 3 holes, but that still doesn't prove Andy is innocent. Jackie also explains that she wanted to use cookies during the interrogation because the guilty party always wants to divert the attention to something else. Jackie promises to figure something out before Billings arrives. Liam gets a drink for Andy and asks about progress. Andy asks why he lied about meeting Amelia upstairs. Jackie decides to walk Andy to her room, and she feels like a prisoner. She hopes Jackie believes her and goes off to sleep. Someone comes to her room at night and leaves a letter. In the morning, Andy feels like someone is trying to help her with clues. She knows Olivia has known her long enough to believe that she's not a thief. Andy shows her the thief card from the game she chose and thinks it's a clue. Margaret notices Andy looking at Liam and asks her to stay away from him. Andy realizes someone in the house used the typewriter in Margaret's study to print her letter. Aside from Olivia and Margaret, Liam also has a set of keys to the study. Margaret keeps spares in the kitchen for the staff, so Andy knows anyone could have accessed it. Andy still thinks they have not yet talked to Raphael from the staff. They go through footage and realize Harper was right about where she was. They notice Raphael going back inside the house before the blackout. The clicker for the gate is missing, and Olivia tries to prevent Raphael from escaping. He runs into the house, so everyone starts looking for him. Gary almost shoots Liam in the process. Liam looks for Raphael with Andy and wants to come clean about what happened with Amelia. Andy asks how much money he owes, because she noticed the sports page open when she bumped into him. He was even having a heated conversation, and knows Liam likes to bet on anything. Liam admits he owes $150,000. This makes Andy feel like he has a motive too. Liam admits he went to Amelia's room during the blackout to remind her it was over between them. She agreed to go home, till Margaret locked the house, and they were all stuck inside. Someone who is watching Liam and Andy presses a button, and they hear Margaret shouting out. Margaret doesn't know who pushed her from the stairs. She was looking for Raphael and found herself on the floor. Billings asks her to get her head checked out and starts investigating. Everyone claims they were looking for Raphael and only came in when they heard Margaret screaming. Bridget was the first one to find her, but she doesn't think Raphael can hurt anyone. Amelia thinks they should suspect Andy again. Liam clarifies that he was outside with Andy when this happened. Harper wonders if this mystery will make for a good podcast. Andy feels everyone in the house probably wanted to harm Margaret. The recording just before Margaret fell has been conveniently wiped out. Liam and Andy hear someone, and they find Raphael hiding in the kitchen. He tries to escape, but Liam catches him. Jackie convinces Billings to let her and Andy observe Raphael's interrogation. Billings' wife is a fan of Jackie, and she agrees to give him a signed advanced copy of her latest novel. Raphael claims he never pushed Margaret. He was outside on the night of the theft since he needed some air after Leonora criticized him. He went back inside before the power, but claims it could be because of old wiring. Billings keeps trying to rile Raphael up to make him confess. Andy points out that 10 people had the opportunity, but one of them is lying. Jackie understands what she has to do and asks Raphael to tell the truth about whatever he's hiding. Raphael explains that he has been working for Margaret for years. She started giving him access to funds over time to cover expenses. The business at his restaurant was not good, so he started stealing money from her safe. He planned to put it back before she knew it was missing. He claims he went back into the house after dark to put the money back. He knows he looks guilty, and his prints are on the safe. But he claims he didn't steal the diamond. Billings arrests him because he admitted he's a thief. Andy shows Jackie the thief card and explains that it resembles Raphael a lot. She feels someone was trying to help her who already knew about Raphael's secret. Margaret has decided to cancel the Christmas party, and Gary is relieved they can go home. They have all seen Raphael get arrested and think this is over. Billings still doesn't think the case is solved and claims he will return the next morning. Olivia is worried about someone attacking Margaret, but Gary feels like she could have slipped. Billings thinks he seems to be in a hurry, and Gary claims he has work in the city. Billings asks everyone, including Gary, to stay put till he returns. Margaret still thinks Andy did it, but Olivia takes her away. Andy knows Raphael is innocent and wants to figure out this mystery. Andy finds another card of the Prowler on her pillow and Amelia's earrings. She goes back to the study to figure out how the suspect got in without the cameras seeing them. She examines the study and heads outside the window. She takes pictures of some footprints and climbs back inside. She hides when she hears Margaret coming to the study, who almost catches her. Andy runs to Jackie to show her the Prowler card. She shows her the footprints and thinks no one saw the thief in the camera because they were already inside. They know they can solve this with the shoes and pay a visit to Amelia. While Andy looks for her shoes, Jackie asks Amelia where she was when the blackout happened. Andy shares that Liam told her everything, and they know nothing happened between them. As they put pressure, Amelia admits nothing happened between them, and that Liam came over to tell her it's over. Amelia claims she saw the way Liam was flirting and laughing with Andy. After that, she wanted to find out more about her. She was jealous of Andy because Liam has never smiled with her like that. She knows it was petty and stupid, but insists she didn't steal the diamond. Andy is sure she's telling the truth, and even her shoe size doesn't match. Amelia admits she only came there because Margaret made her believe she still had a chance with Liam. When she saw Andy with Liam, she realized it was impossible. Andy feels like they're back to square one, and Billings will arrive in the morning. Jackie assures her something will work out. Breakfast is laid out the next morning already with envelopes for all of them. Andy has made all the holiday food and asks everyone to take their seats. When Billings joins them too, Andy starts explaining what's happening. She wants them to play a new game called Catch a Thief and asks them to open the cards in front of them. She asks Jackie to show her card first, which claims she's the detective. Olivia's card claims she is innocent, while Liam's claims he's a gambler. Everyone is convinced, but Margaret feels like Andy is trying to embarrass them. She asks her to be patient and starts recalling the night when the diamond was stolen. Everyone went into the parlor after dinner, except Gary, who changed his clothes and came back as Santa. She reminds them that Bridget spilled cocoa on Leonora at 7:15, after which she was publicly fired. She then informs about Harper sipping alcohol and fighting with Leonora about college. Harper has the liar card, and Andy explains she only wants to go overseas to be with Cedric. The tuition checks Gary has been sending are being used for her influencer lifestyle. She also explains that Margaret threatened to cut Harper off from the inheritance, which Andy feels seems harsh. Margaret claims she was trying to teach Harper a lesson, but Andy feels she threatened to cut it because it touched a nerve. She knows that Margaret also dared to love a commoner once, just like Harper. Andy explains that Cedric is not super rich like Harper claims. Her text gave her him away because Cedric claimed he had never been to Paris. Andy knows anyone who is uber rich would have definitely been to Paris. No one denies that Cedric comes from a common family, and Andy feels encouraged to explain that Margaret went through the same thing once. She asks Margaret to show her lover card and explains that Liam and Olivia don't share the same father. She knows Olivia is Mr. Kenilworth's daughter, but she also knows from the paternity test that came for Liam that he is not. Andy feels this explains why Margaret was so insistent on Harper not making the same mistake as her. Liam always suspected, but he knows it's true because of the letter. Andy continues from the time Margaret went to return the diamond to her safe at 7:40. Andy then went to make coffee when the blackout happened. Gary and Liam went looking for the circuit breaker, but Liam went upstairs to confront Amelia. This proves to Andy that neither Liam nor Amelia had the time to steal the necklace. Andy asks them to realize the possibility that no one cut the power. She thinks the blackout was the result of something that was planned hours before the incident. She knows from Gary's own statement that he puts up the lights every year for Christmas. He also claimed he knows a lot about fuses. She remembers Raphael also mentioning something about the wiring being so old that he has to be careful with appliances. She thinks it's possible Gary loaded the circuit precisely so with one flip of a switch, the circuit breaker would be triggered. He knew the espresso machine could do it. And Andy specifically remembers him asking her to make coffee. He asks about the footprints, but Andy has already found a match for them in Gary's Santa boots. She knows that Gary went to the study after dinner, which was the noise she heard from her window. When the power went out, Gary was able to slip past Margaret and steal the diamond. Gary claims he had no motive, but Andy asks Leonora to show her card. It claims she's the opportunist, and Andy explains what happened during the conversation between them and Margaret in the morning. Gary and Leonora wanted her to invest the returns, but Margaret wanted to pull her investments. Andy knows Margaret decided to cash out of their pyramid scheme because of another reason. Gary's card claims he's the cheater. Andy knows Margaret knew about his affair with Bridget, who has the Harlot card. Margaret didn't want to invest in their unstable partnership after knowing about the affair. Andy also points out how an experienced butler like Bridget would not have made the clumsy spill on Leonora. She thinks Bridget did it out of jealousy. She claims when Gary realized he couldn't get away with stealing the diamond, he hid it in Andy's stuff since he knew Margaret already suspected her. When Gary couldn't get the diamond, he apparently wanted to get the inheritance in another way. Andy knows he didn't push Margaret down the stairs because he needed to make it look like an accident. When everyone was looking for Raphael, he called out to Margaret to check for him too. Andy explains that he had already wired the stairs so she would trip. Andy also knows that Gary is the only one in the room who will directly get Margaret's inheritance if anything happens to her. Gary tries to run away, but the cops stationed inside the house catch him and take Leonora to the station too. Margaret apologizes for doubting Andy, but she's just happy they found the person who hurt her. Margaret apologizes for hurting Olivia too, by not telling her the truth, but she insists she has made a lot of sacrifices for both her and Liam over the years. They make up and head inside the house. Jackie feels Andy has proven to be a better detective than a sidekick. Andy knows she had help from Jackie because she was the one who put the cards in her room. Jackie is thinking about writing a book on this case and asks Andy to co-write it with her. Liam gifts Andy an album he made for all the photos she and Olivia took at camp. Liam has found a rehab for gamblers and is joining them soon. He admits he has been aimless for a long time and wants to get things in control for both of them. Andy reminds him they're standing under the mistletoe, and they kiss.